As you return to the serene village, you see the smiling, friendly faces of the elves that you've met before. Then, all of a sudden, swooping down from the sky is this large hawk-like creature with the head of a deer and the fangs of a wolf. It lowers its antlers and charges at you. Run for your lives. What the hells is that? This is the Peryton, a carnivorous monstrosity that feeds on any creature, but prefers humanoids, especially elves and humans. And I'm gonna share its strange origin and give you ideas of how to use it in an adventure. This is an underused D&D monster that has some very interesting lore and a unique, somewhat underrated ability. According to the lore, wizards theorize that Perytons were transformed by some sort of magical experiment or hideous curse. Okay, a curse, a wizard did it. Yeah, that's kind of par for the course for D&D. But maybe the wizards don't deserve all the credit, because bards tell a different story of an individual who cheated upon their lover, and that lover got revenge by carving out the heart of the paramour in a magic ritual that allowed them to control their lover and prevent them from ever committing infidelity again. Another thing that's interesting about this creature is they must consume the heart of a humanoid in order to successfully mate. Did you catch that? They eat the hearts of their victims. Why is this creepy thing not more popular? Because it's only challenge rating 2, so even if you have a mated pair, there's still only a total of challenge rating 4. And we know that a lot of folks start their 5th edition games at player level 3, so this cool and creepy challenge rating 2 monster gets overlooked. But wait, this creature can fly, and that alone presents a challenge for low-level characters. Plus, it has a fly-by ability that negates opportunity attacks when it swoops in to attack you. So using one of these against level 2 players, or 2 of these against level 3 players, can present a formidable challenge. But don't sleep on the fact that this thing eats people's hearts. There's gotta be something we can do with that. Oh yeah, serial killer shows are stupid popular right now. And what does everybody say you can't do in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons? Well, you can't do horror, and you can't do murder investigations. Again, I think you can, especially if you do them below 5th level. So if we're making an adventure for 2nd level characters, this is a pretty good monster to use, and it's a great monster to theme as a serial killer. So what you do with this monster is you create a serial killer style murder investigation, where the victim's hearts are taken from their chest. That is why the Peryton is so useful, because it's a monster. You can have it attacking the party over and over again while they're trying to conduct this murder investigation. In fact, you can set it up that way where you have 2 plot hooks. One plot hook is to stop the monster that keeps attacking the village. 2 is to find this murderer that has been killing villagers. However, when the players fight the monster, remember, it's cursed. It's attached to this plot about a missing heart or some other curse that you've created for this story. So the monster never fully dies. Not until they solve the murder mystery and not until they resolve the curse. So the players think they have 2 different plot hooks that they're working, but they're actually going to merge into one story. This allows you to regularly have combat, so every time they drop the Peryton to 0 hit points, it bursts into mist or dissolves into ash. Some sort of mysterious effect. Now we got our concept. Let's lay out the hooks and the NPCs. Well, real quick before we do that, you know to do the YouTube stuff, right? Like, subscribe, share, comment. It's a quick and simple way to help the channel. And one more thing that's very important to this plot. The Peryton has a unique ability that its shadow doesn't match its silhouette. The Peryton casts a humanoid shadow, even though it's this monstrosity of bird, deer, and wolf. And that is going to serve us later. Because these creatures like to eat the hearts of elves and humans, we're going to set this adventure in an elven village. Now our first NPC is Lolana the Priestess. The temple and the healing potions give players incentive to talk to this NPC. And she's going to be one of our primary quest givers, telling the players about this strange creature that suddenly appeared over the last week. She was attacked attacked by this creature, the creature ate her pet falcon and she barely escaped with her life. So she desperately wants the players to find this creature and eliminate it. And that sets up our first plot hook. Next, we have the Ranger Indara, and she's our first victim. She's the first person whose heart is stolen because she was killed by our real villain. So her heart was removed and she was transformed into the Peryton, and now our villain is using her in Peryton form to kill other villagers. And we're also going to take some creative license with this idea of the humanoid shadow and say that when the Peryton takes out the heart of one of its victims, it actually transforms into a shadow form of the person that they were before becoming a Peryton. So Indara actually manifests in this shadow form after the Peryton kills a victim, and Indara's shadow form is what actually takes the heart out of the body. So game mechanic wise, this monster is actually two monsters in one. It's a Peryton and it's the shadow, because our shadow stat block tells us it can drain people's strength. And you can describe that ability as Indara reaching into the victim's heart and trying to pull it out. And that's why their strength is drained as she's taking their essence, taking their heart out of their body. So even though Indara is the one that's actually killing and removing people's hearts, in Peryton form of course, Vevala is our real villain. She's the one who killed Indara, turned her into the Peryton, and is now using the Peryton to kill everyone else that knew that Indara was having an affair with Vevala's husband. Now, to slightly throw players off the track that she's the murderer, she's going to act very friendly towards them, and she's the local sage who sells magic scrolls. Again, incentive for the players to engage with these NPCs. And our last main NPC is Zenthar, and he's the town blacksmith who sells weapons and medium armor. And he, of course, is enchanted by his wife, Vevala. And because of that enchantment, he will not reveal that she's the murderer. Even though he knows that she is, he's under a powerful charm that prevents him from saying so. In fact, he will probably try to mislead the party. But you don't want to overcomplicate the investigation, so you want to make it clear that he just seems strange. He seems odd. And of course, if the players detect magic or use some other ability, they're going to realize that he's being affected by a spell. They still don't know who yet, but that's another clue for their investigation. Now, the last NPC is the rest of the village. You don't need to have specific NPCs with specific information attached to them. Just use the rest of the village to give the players the clues they need to solve the mystery. So here's a list of talking points for all the different villagers. So the most important thing to establish is that Indara, Vevala, and Zenthar were all friends. Over the past few months, Zenthar and Vevala were arguing often, and then almost overnight, like magic, they seem much more in love than they ever were. And that, of course, is now because he's literally enchanted by his wife. And of course, some people know that Zenthar and Indara were having an affair. And those are the people that are being murdered by the Peryton. And the clue that will most likely lead the players to that discovery, all the victims are Zenthar's friends. The other important thing is that no one actually sees the killer. The closest thing you have to a witness is someone who says they've seen the shadow, or they saw a dark reflection in the mirror, or however you want to describe the shadow side of this Peryton when it's stealing creatures' hearts. So as the players interact with the different villagers, you can just use this list of talking points to give the players clues in whatever order makes sense for the questions that they're asking. So you're not hard locked into the players needing to talk to any specific NPC, and you're able to give out the clues in a logical order that leads the players down the trail of breadcrumbs so that they can feel smart when they solve the mystery. If you really like this idea, you can download the slides that I used for this video and use them as notes for you to run this adventure for yourself. In the comments, let me know what you think. How would you use a Peryton in your adventure? What would you do for a low-level murder investigation for your players? Hit me up with all those ideas, enjoy the discussion in the comments, and click here for more videos. Thanks again for visiting the Dire Den. I'll see you next time.